Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the media. First of all, I must apologize sincerely for heavy waiting this long. You know that the COC finished early, but not as early as I had wanted. So from that time on, there were other appointments previously arranged in the office that I've had to attend to, and now is the only time that I've had available to me to come and meet you all. But thank you very much for your commitment. You've waited here since the morning. The Constitutional Officers Commission met today after a very long wait, affected by some of the things that were beyond our control. And I had specifically asked that we have a face-to-face meeting today, which we did. Some of the resolutions made had been communicated, or the material for the resolutions that we were required to arrive at today were circulated to the members by flying minute through email, and those were all compiled into a very large file for us to consider today. But fortunately, we had read most of the papers that had been circulated. The first resolution passed by the Commission today was that we recommend one of the members of the Electoral Commission to be appointed as temporary chairperson of the Electoral Commission until the substantive appointment is made. The members voted and were in favor of they were in favor of recommending that Ms. Barbara Malimali to act as chairperson of the Electoral Commission until a substantive chairperson is appointed. Second resolution today was that Mr. Reginald Jokan be recommended as a member of the Electoral Commission, and he has been a sitting member of the Commission. And the third resolution today that we were invited to submit our nominees for chairperson of the Electoral Commission in 7 days to be the substantive chairman or chairperson. 7 days, that means that period ends the nomination period ends on the 14th of July. 7 days for deliberation and compilation of papers, 21st of July, and the nomination to be considered by face-to-face meeting of the Constitutional Officers Commission on 28th of July, which is another Friday. Next item was the consideration of allowances for members of the tribunal to be appointed in relation to the allegations of misbehavior against the suspended Commissioner of Police. The Commission resolved that a Gazette notice constituting the tribunal and the terms of reference be drafted, and the members voted on the members voted. Those members who voted were the Prime Minister, the Attorney General, Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Rapted, Mr. Ndalo, and Mr. Molombola, which is the full board, the full commission. Agreed that pursuant to section 137(3)(a)(1) of the Constitution the members of the tribunal to investigate the allegations of misbehavior against the suspended Commissioner of Police be appointed following their appointment. The Commission considered it appropriate to prepare a Gazette notice and the terms of reference to be provided. In our deliberations, we found out that there had been some disconnect in the past, and we will not blame anyone, but we are entrusted with the rectification of some of the process that had taken place in the past. Item 7 on the supervisor of elections. The consideration of the allowance to the acting supervisor of election. The matters relating to the outstanding entitlement of the former supervisor of elections and consideration of the advertisement for the vacancy that exists for a supervisor of election. Resolution passed by the Commission today. Mr. Sanim, to be paid as per the allowances and entitlement provided for in its contract, which is dated the 16th of February 2021. The next resolution on the acting allowance of the supervisor of election, acting supervisor of election, be paid as per the allowance entitlement provided in the contract of service of Mr. Sanim. And that same contract I quoted before, which was dated the 16th of February 2021. Carried by a majority of the votes. In fact, everyone in the Commission voted for that. No vote against or no abstention. Next resolution by the Commission was the Secretary of the Commission to draft the standing operating procedures. We have found, as I started with, I mentioned that there had been some disconnect in some of the provisions of constitutions and conventions that had not been formalized, and we're going to have a draft standing operating procedures that we will have to act on and work in accordance with, and also those who will be succeeding us. The next one on the draft advertisement for the position of supervisor of election be circulated over the next 7 days to the 14th of July. The Commission members to thereafter consider the recommendations in the following 7 days, and for the Commission to deliberate on the 28th of July with the other ones that are stated to be brought to the full Commission on the 28th of July. Item 8 on the agenda was the Commissioner for Correction Services. Matters relating to the outstanding entitlement of the former Commissioner of Correction Services, and secondly, consideration of the advertisement for the vacancy of Commissioner of Correction Services. Resolutions passed by the Commission today that Mr. Keane be paid as per the allowances and entitlements provided in his contract dated the 27th of September 2021. And all voted for by all the members of the Commission. And the last item was the Auditor General, the update on the applications for the position of Auditor General, and consideration of the appointment of an independent selection panel for the recruitment of that officer, the Auditor General. The selection panel members were nominated, and the commission has agreed to appoint Mr. Kameli Mbatiweti, Ms. Suzy Wangarimbarabi, and Ms. Jenny Sito as members of the panel of the recruitment, for the recruitment of the Auditor General. That Kameli Mbatiweti to sit as chair of the panel. So those were the resolutions arrived at today in the Constitutional Officers Commission meeting, which has not been held since the 26th of January. We've had decisions made by flying minutes, and this is the next face-to-face meeting of the full commission today. And the next one will be, we've set a date for that, the 28th of this month. Any questions?
Rabuka from Fiji Village, you mentioned that a temporary chair has been appointed for the Electoral Commission. What about the other members, since most of the seats were empty?
Other members of what?
Electoral Commission.
We have received the nominations. They will be sent up. There were 2 recent resignations, and they will be filled. Also nominations for those. The president has the final say on that, eh? We recommend, yeah.
Melissa Shile from Fiji Times. Once the members are finalized for the Electoral Commission, will one of the priorities be filling in the 2 vacant seats currently in Parliament?
Yes.
And so you had also mentioned it's the first COC that has happened after a lapse of a few months. What were some of the reasons for the delay? Why did it take so long for this meeting to convene, sir?
You will recall that for a period there we didn't have an opposition. There was some, and then we didn't have a leader of the opposition. So there were nominees, no nominees from the leader of the opposition until that position was filled and the nominees received for membership of the COC. And then the Fiji First Party was suspended, and the government will get a clarification from the court on the effect of a suspension on elected members of parliament. At the moment, there have been different interpretations in the past that applied to SODELPA and then applied to Federation Party and then again to SODELPA. So it's now time for us to get a final ruling from the court.
As per the appointment of Ms. Mali as the temporary chair, were there other candidates that the COC was also considering, or was Ms.
Not for temporary chair. She's temporary chair. She's the only lawyer in the current group that's appointed so far, or recommended so far.
Was there any criteria that the COC had to follow to appoint her in that role?
According to the Constitution, that will be the appointment of the Electoral Commission. And by convention, it must be a senior legist because of the importance of that position.
Prime Minister, you'd understand that by the acting appointment of Barbara Mali and Mr. Chokan and Akhtar Lentua, who's currently still the chair, the member of the commission, they still do not have a quorum to meet to at least give the names to the speaker for the opposition, because opposition are missing 2 members. Does that, what's this?
They will have 6 after the nominations are considered by the president. They will have a quorum, a chair and 6. So 4 can sit.
Yeah, 4 can sit. But would the Electoral Commission be able to sit this weekend to allow for 2 names to go up to Parliament next week, since budget?
I'm sure it can be done. There's no work holiday for the president and the chair of the COC. So I sign it now. It can be approved in the next hour.
So you talked about the review or reinstating the initial contract that was offered to Mr. Salim as SOE. That it's been reinstated. I mean, the allowances have been put back to what was the contract that was allowances that was based off 16th Feb. I think
21?
Right.
Yes.
Would you be able to say what the variance is between that and what he was offered in the lead up to the elections? Yeah?
There was a big change, but that change we have not verified whether they were approved according to the Constitution.
So would you able to tell us how much would he be getting in dollar value?
No, I cannot. Off the top of my head, no, I do not have that exact figures.
Mr. Prime Minister, you've spoken about the tribunal that will be appointed to hear the case of Mr. Suspended Police Commissioner. Is there a timeline that you're working on that to have these established and to have the works going?
The tribunals?
Yeah.
The tribunals are already appointed.
Okay.
What we do now is just give them the terms of reference on the allegations that have come up,
Okay.
and their terms of reference would be to investigate those allegations.
Would
So
you be
you
able
would
to
tell
tell
us-
us who sits on the tribunal, sir?
Sorry?
Would you be able to tell us who sits on the tribunal?
Is that part of the resolutions that have come?
No.
I'm only working from what the secretary has given, because you notice here it's all classified. Even I cannot divulge.
But how many members in total, sir?
3.
3.
Prime Minister, allegations have been made that the government is seen or is responsible for denying the opposition side its appointment by not convening the COC. To recommend the names or the appointees to earlier on to the office of the president. What's your take on that?
There was no opposition at the time.
Just that, sir?
There was no opposition at the time. They were suspended.
But Ms. Ronidalo was on the COC.
She is a nominee of the leader of the opposition. When there is no opposition, there is no nominee.
So as an ex officio member, the leader of opposition, and COC is not able to meet without him, even though it has a quorum?
The leader of the opposition has not been taking part in the deliberations of the COC, even written.
But Mr. Sirratu, during a press conference 2 weeks ago, said that he has never received an invitation, just that he's been receiving emails from the acting supervisor of elections, Ana Matediwa.
On decisions to be
On
made.
Decisions, yes.
Yeah. And I asked whether that was correct or not.
And was it? Was it not?
I do not know. That's why we're going to court.